This is the Big O Show. This is the Big O Show.
We had Marino without a running game and a suspect defense, then Jason Taylor, Zach Thomas with an average offense, and now this defense with an offense to be determined. Very frustrating as a Dolphins fan. It is, Thomas. It is. I get you. But where we have to kind of I know this is like really difficult for all of you out there, because asking a Dolphins fan to have patience is it's almost impossible. It really is, because it's been going on for decades now. And the back end of Marino's run was unsatisfying for a lot of us. And then watching him retire in the conditions that he had to retire was so, frustrating and pisses us off. And then all the coaches that followed after that were just utter failures. So it's not a rebuild of just 2 years and 2 games. I get it, ladies and gentlemen. I get it. But unfortunately, we have to compartmentalize. We cannot blame them for everything that happened in the past, because it's not their fault. None of these guys were in charge. Other people were making decisions. And in 2 years and 2 games, they've done an exceptional job of rebuilding this thing. But they are far from complete. Now, you know what? Sometimes we also have to check ourselves, because we end up wrecking ourselves. And I am one of them. I made the mistake. I got a little jacked up about the team and was thinking that, they were ready on the cusp of surprising. Not that they would be better than the Bills. I've never said that. As you all know, I've picked the Bills to win the division. I've picked the Bills to be the team to challenge Kansas City for, AFC and the right to go to the playoffs. I've never put the Dolphins in that spot, but they were home. I figured, you know what? They haven't had a lot of luck against them. Things haven't gone well. Well, maybe now they got enough to surprise them. Eke it out. 24-20 is what I picked, right? I was wrong. I was dead wrong. I was dead wrong for being that positive and having that outlook on them that they could actually challenge. I deserve it.
Blind ass fan alert. Look out, everyone. We've got a blind ass fan coming through.
So, a lot of us have done this, and we kind of thought too, a lot of you thought the same thing I did. It's really our fault. We probably raised the level of expectations. No, not probably. We raised the level of expectations to a point that was unrealistic. So we have to blame ourselves for that. And I tell people a lot of times that some of you out there, you blame the team for your, bloated expectations that weren't realistic. I'm guilty of it today. I'm guilty of it this week. But I am not going to sit here and tell you, oh, no, Flo sucks. He can't coach, because I've watched him. I've seen already what Greer has done. I think he's done an excellent job overall, but it's unfinished. So I have to wait. I have to give the man time. Everybody else has been given years and years and years to do it, right? And they failed. So I'm not going to just discard these gentlemen because it was a terrible outing, because I disagree maybe philosophically on what's going on the offensive line. Maybe it's too many young guys. Okay. We can have some differences, but it's not enough to say, oh, no, everybody's got to go. That's ridiculous, because where they're at, they're still a lot closer to becoming a decent team than they have been in a long time. I know it's hard to look at it after a 35-0 loss and you had a terrible outing, but this happens to a lot of teams, man, where even teams that are established have terrible weeks. Look at the Saints. Saints dismantled Green Bay, and they're a pretty damn good team with a Hall of Fame quarterback. And now the Saints came back to reality this week, and Jameis Winston threw no touchdowns and 2 interceptions. And we'll see if Green Bay bounces back tonight. I'm sure they're going to be hungry to get that win because they looked like shit last week at 38-3. And that's with Aaron Rodgers that they put up 3 points. I get it. It's hard to compartmentalize. It's hard to be patient because you've been you've run out of patience after every failed regime after another. I totally understand that. But we cannot blame these guys, and you cannot carry your frustration over from the last 20 years on these gentlemen. That's not fair to them. And that's not fair in the decision when you're trying to understand what is going on with this team. I'm still firmly behind Flo, firmly behind Chris Grier. Would I tell them, hey, enough with Albert Wilson and Jakeem Grant as wide receivers? Yeah, I would tell them that. I would tell them that Matt Collins, in my eyes, is a better football player. What the hell are you doing? And this whole thing, it was aggressive. It was maybe to a certain extent in their eyes forward thinking. Plus they wanted to kind of speed up this whole process. But in the end, it was a bad plan. It's not speeding up the process. It's actually delaying your development. And they thought maybe, hey, we'll get a bunch of young draft picks and we'll develop them. But they didn't really anticipate all the problems of having all that youth on that line. So, yeah, they're not going to be perfect. This is the first time that Chris Grier runs a football team. This is the first time that Coach Flo runs and coaches a football team. So nothing is going to be perfect. You're going to make mistakes. But because you make a couple mistakes, I'm supposed to give up on you after a 10-win season? After you tore it all down 2 years ago to then rebuild it? That doesn't make any sense. That's not giving someone an opportunity to prove themselves, no matter how frustrated you and I are. It's not fair to them, and it's not fair to us.
This is the Big O Show. This is the Big O Show.